Research says you can't get COVID-19 by eating food, but there are still risks you need to be aware of when you eat at a restaurant or cook food at home.
In this week's Behind the Kitchen Door, ABC 17's Molly Staunoga digs into what could put your health at risk during mealtime.
According to current research, that risk is not in the food. A doctor of pediatric infectious diseases with MU Healthcare told me there have been no studies that have shown COVID-19 infecting someone through food.
We know that COVID-19 transmits from person-to-person transmission, so that's why we are wearing masks while we talk, so that we don't transmit while we talk, cough, or sneeze.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the virus is spread mostly from person to person. However, it could also be possible to catch COVID from touching a surface with the virus on it and touching your face.
I think there's this concern that could you transmit COVID-19 through food, packaging, and surfaces.
She told me that if you are cooking for yourself, you should just follow the food code to protect yourself from the coronavirus. If you're concerned about the packaging, you could also dump out the food onto a plate and then wash your hands before you touch it.
But I think it makes sense to, after you have handled food packages, you bring things into the home, clean the surfaces where you put them on, wash your hands before you start handling food, and of course, follow the usual steps that you do for good food handling practices.
This means you should also cook at the right temperatures, separate your food, and use separate cutting surfaces. If you plan on going out to eat, you should keep in mind there is some risk. That's why you want to make sure the business you go to is social distancing, wearing masks, and taking other precautions. You can also decrease your own risk by doing those things.
I think outside seating is a good idea. Socially distanced seating is a good idea. Wearing masks going in and out, make sure that in the restaurant where people cross paths, in the restrooms, etc., people are wearing masks.
If you are eating out, the CDC also says you should wash your hands when you go into and leave a restaurant.